We're live.
Chantel, are we live?
No.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna wait for
Kevin
Chantel.
says.
We're live.
Are we gonna wait for Chantel?
Nope, we're live.
Well, you're listening to Kevin.
You're
Okay,
listening.
he is the director.
Welcome.
You go.
You go.
Live over here.
Welcome to Filabot Live. Today we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna talk about our 5,000th order. Crazy times, and give you a little bit of a rundown on how we got here, because this is big stuff, and we wanted to include all of you in our celebration. We celebrated today, didn't we?
Chantel, can you go to my truck in the back? There's a bag of fireworks.
They can hear you.
What?
Fireworks. There's little poppers in them. The little party.
Seriously? Seriously?
It's a great prop.
Apparently.
It would be awesome. It's just in the back. Okay, so I should have had that. That's what I was waiting for. So I have these fireworks in the back of my truck that derailing it.
No,
We'll show you.
it wasn't even on the rails.
I just found it. Okay, moving on.
We celebrated a little bit today. We had some pizza for lunch, followed by an in-depth discussion on our next 5,000 orders and
In the past
and
5,000.
our customer segments and some other stuff that we will not bore you with.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It was fun.
It was,
It's a midday
talk about-
celebration is hard
we talk about, well, it is.
because we're working. We're still
we're
like
working, yeah.
setting things up for live. We're getting ready. Thursday is a busy day.
It is. And if you can't tell, we are rather thoughtful. We have a lot of great conversation,
I think
some
that's-
of which is relevant.
Some.
Some.
Yeah, it's good.
I won't even say most. This is what happens when you work with people that you like, that you get along with, that you resonate with similarly in terms of intellect and topics of interest.
I feel really bad for having her go out there. Great. Okay, keep going. Do the intro on what we're doing.
I just did. All right, so we're gonna go back in time. We got some photos.
There's little.
I know, that's all.
This is what you sent her out there for?
Oh, there was like poppers in there.
Yeah, it's like a plethora of fireworks. That's all I'm getting. For now.
Should we do that after? We'll do that after. That'll be a 30
I don't think we
second
should
clip.
light those right now. It's gonna mess with the
That's
white
true.
balance on the camera.
There were little harmless poppers in there. We were gonna celebrate with. It's okay. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And this has been a glimpse into literally everything that ever happens at Filabot.
How do we get here? How do we get to
How did
where
get
we
here?
are?
So it's
5,000
rather
orders.
well documented that the original Filabot system came out of a Kickstarter project
Yes.
that you started under a bridge or something.
Kind of. It was
Tell us about that.
man. You know, now that you ask, how did it start? Well, that's when that Kickstarter in 2012, 2011. And then that's when it all started to fall together. That was 2 days before the holiday break. I put together this Kickstarter for a machine, and we do have some photos we'll zoom to or hold up or something.
Yeah.
But 2 days before the holiday break, came up with that idea, got home, made the Kickstarter in like 2 days. It was in the winter, right? And made a video with a fireplace behind me and my Mac, my computer webcam as the video. It was crazy. It was awful. I think the video's still up on Kickstarter.
All videos are live forever, right?
So the videos are up.
So let me just go back. You saw what a 3D printer was,
Yeah.
and from that entire foundation of information, you decided that an extruder needed to exist to make your own filament
Yeah.
out of
Whatever's around.
whatever plastic you can find.
Yeah, because it was limited.
Had you
like-
even printed anything?
No. I hadn't even held a 3D printed part at that point.
Now, all right. Now,
This
okay.
is how most of our projects go.
Okay.
Thankfully now.
Okay. So there's a couple major takeaways here for me. Number one, people
I'm surprised
watching.
this is new to you.
This is completely new to me. So, on one hand, that is ridiculous. Like that
Oh,
is
yeah.
the definition of trying to sell into a space that you have no knowledge of. That would be like me selling a Kickstarter for, some like a guitar. I don't even know how to play music.
Well, I knew hardware.
But by the same token, obviously it worked. It's worked out, and we're on like what, the 5th iteration
We're on the 5th. It
of
works
these
a little better.
extruders. Your takeaway there is you have an ability to see things differently.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it
And,
was
and
like
a confidence.
I think I'm naive to the challenges, right? Like that's something I've been saying is like, if I were we are looking back. Looking back, I don't think if I knew all the challenges with plastic. I mean, we're still not done working with the widest range of plastics. Like our systems need to be improved. We need to make them more functional, and that's what we're doing through our R&D. But if I knew that looking back, and I wouldn't have started Filabot because it was just so much. So it was like this. The only thing I needed to know for Kickstarter was what filament was, what the tolerances were, the plus or minus 0.05. Can actually be a little wider than that to print, and that was it. And it was like, okay, plastic here, filament there, that's it. And then we ran the Kickstarter. So that was, I get home from holiday break.
Yeah.
And my parents are like, how's college? Like, how you doing? You're spending a bunch of money. Are you learning anything? I was like, I'm working on something else, right? And it's kind of nice. I just kind of went and did that. Worked on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I got that done. And then through the holiday break, the Kickstarter pre-sold 67 systems. Over $32,000, and this was like in a time when 3D printing was so new. 2010, 11, that's when it started to really happen. MakerBot was with their 3D printer, the Cupcake they called it. The platform was 4x4x4.
Wow,
I
that's
think
tiny.
Inches, yeah. And actually, so made the first section of filament. Found a guy online somewhere in he was in Burlington with one of these MakerBots in his basement.
So about an hour north from where the school was. But actually that you were home for break, so that would have been right around the corner.
I don't know if I was on the break. Okay, so we should also talk about I didn't have a prototype at the end of Kickstarter. So
Right.
it was after Kickstarter. It was still in the winter, but it was after. Yeah, I think it was like February or March. Okay, so we raised the money. This is when Kickstarter didn't have the rule that you had to have a prototype, right? So if you're doing a hardware product, when I did the Kickstarter, it could just be an idea on a whiteboard, which is exactly what I did. Which,
Maybe you're the reason that they changed the
I
rule.
think a lot of things happen like that because it's just like this.
But you delivered, right?
We delivered, right?
And there's certainly I was part of some early Kickstarters that
Didn't
not
deliver. Right, we delivered, we refunded. Actually, there is one Kickstarter person, maybe a few, who did not get a 3D printed tape dispenser. So we're gonna send them filament if you are one of those people watching. But we refunded, we delivered all the systems we could. We refunded some international people. But all in all, it actually cost me double. So about 60 grand to build and finish Kickstarter.
So you lost money.
I lost money on Kickstarter. It was this huge,
But you learned a lot.
Oh, we learned a lot. Yeah, it was crazy. So let's talk about the number of prototypes we had.
How many prototypes did you have?
I don't think I can count.
Because you only count on one hand? Or
No, it's just in general. So I had a lot of prototypes, and I did print some stuff. This was a simple Google search of some prototypes. The Kickstarter one actually isn't in here. I missed that one. So this was like the 6th prototype. I don't have all.
tell us about it.
So this one, it's really simple. I mean, it almost looks like a Filabot in a way. Simple. We got the motor. Can you see this, Kev? Motor, hopper, heater. Very simple. And then there was no spooling. It just came and spooled, and that was a mess. But there was it was just a functional hardware design. And that worked, kind of. You can see in the hopper that the pellets were like melting together. So after running this for like 10 minutes, the hopper was just full of plastic. Wasn't good. And then I put a nice box around it.
Snazzy.
Yeah, I love extruded aluminum. Sections of that, it's so nice. And then, actually, this was very similar to the Kickstarter version. So it was pretty wide. It was like this wide, this long. And the idea was going to be an all-in-one. like grinding all the way to extruding filament.
It's a lot.
That's a lot harder than, I mean, we don't do that now because it's so hard. All
We
of our
still
systems-
want to do that.
We don't, I don't know if we do.
It would be nice.
Oh, it
with
would.
the technical limitations.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, yeah, that's what we're chasing. If we could do that the right way and
Here,
have
have
it
this
function.
refrigerator-sized system that costs 20 grand to ship to you.
Right.
Right. It does all of these things if you have like 3 220 lines.
Yeah, 3-phase. Yeah, so we broke it down a little bit. Went back to basics, put a nice enclosure on it. Oh, this was a fun one. Actually, this might have been before that one. So this was the Filabot Wii.
Whee!
Wii!
That's how you celebrate.
Woo!
You refer to yourself and other people.
This was
It's a Mitch Hedberg joke.
I don't know what to say about this one. This was the first
It's made of
commercial release. We had the Kickstarter, and then I went to wood because
Why?
everybody. So like the wood, if it was, this actually wasn't the one I released. The one I released was all laser cut, so it had this nice like.
It's kind of like
Is
burnt
cauterized the nice word? Nice cauterized edge. I don't like that. It had a nice
Burnish?
burned, like a wood burnt edge. Let's put it that way. And this was the kind of first one we started selling. We started selling these in 2013, I believe, 2014, and then we've updated to what we see now. And then this was the first spooler version, and then Kevin made it better. Thanks, Kevin.
So from the Kickstarter to the commercial version to yada 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 yada
To what we had behind us.
to yeah.
Oh, we are missing the spooler.
What
Oops.
what warrants a new machine? You know, because you could take apart and you could say, you know, we can swap this out for this and it's going to be
Right.
a little bit better. But that doesn't really make it a new machine. You know, we've got the original and the Wii and the EX2 and
Yeah.
a couple versions of the EX2 even. So what
What
makes it
changes it?
what makes it significant enough that it gets a new name?
So, speed, the energy, the power, like, so heat power, the motor power, the size, right? So if we're updating the EX2 to work better,
Sure.
to be more powerful, to have higher output, that's kind of where the EX6 came from. You know, the EX6, we wanted more capabilities. Our customers were asking for more temperature control, more speed, more change. We needed access to the screw, where EX2, screw's stuck inside and you have to clean it with pellets. You can't take it apart. EX6, you can take it apart. And it's kind of that, well, so that's the other piece. Like, our systems are modular based, right? So you have an extruder. That extruder, we have two versions right now. We have the EX2, that is like our entry level, our single heat zone, does a very wide range of plastics, and then we have the EX6. So you start with the EX2, you go to the EX6 if you need more capabilities, if you're working with higher engineering grade polymers, higher temperatures, or materials that are hard to process. And then you go to your cooling section. So we have the air path right now. We've been talking about the water bath, which is really how do you cool a filament once you extrude it. And then we have the spooler unit. Basically, all the units past the extruder are, like, we don't really need to upgrade those because we're able to design those to be scalable, right? So, like our cooling system, our EX2 or our EX6 is so fast that our cooling system is too slow. Like, we need that water bath so that we can extrude. So it's that modularity that has been nice. You know, we haven't locked ourselves into one platform where it's like, this is it, this is what we're developing. And we've had to do that. We've had to do that because otherwise, like, we don't have a huge bankroll to fund all that. And we just do it in these incremental steps. You know, what worked well, and then how do we improve on that? And I'm sure Kevin has a second design for an EX6. I'm sure he has,
He's got a lot of ideas.
he's got a lot of ideas.
He's the idea man. No, you're
Yeah.
you're both. You have a lot
I
of
get my
ideas, too.
energy from Kevin, and like when he starts putting
The two of you together.
Yeah,
Pretty entertaining to watch.
kind of fun.
It is.
No, it is fun.
All right. So,
Yeah.
So, that kind of brings us through some of the thought processes. But when we start to reflect back on the sales, right? Because 5,000 sales is kind of what we're celebrating. 5,000 orders, I guess, is probably the better way to describe it. What, other than the products, have changed? Obviously, the team is bigger. The physical location is a little different.
Yeah.
But if we look at more the company philosophy or the way we
Operate.
consider our customer, I mean, anything like that, what has changed?
When we first started, first of all, I am learning that I'm still learning, right? And I think that's like the more I learn, the less I know. But I'm like learning how to work with people better. I think this team is phenomenal, right? I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're the people here running this and being able to play with this technology. But when I first started, it was like I was micromanaging. I was like, and I think to some extent I had to, because the people involved, they were part-time or they were, not invested in the way that we are.
That's where the company was.
Right. That's where the company was.
I think most early stage founders have similar stories. I know that's my story in my last biz, and I have plenty of friends that's how they started, because when you start, you care so much. You have such a clear mental vision,
right, and
of where you're trying to go, and
easy.
sometimes it's hard to express that. And even if you can, the ability to get the right people on board,
right,
to shepherd that vision can be really challenging.
Right. I mean, and I think that's why I micromanaged in the past, and to some extent, like you were saying, it needed to happen. That vision, it's so much easier to have your own vision and build it, but then you get to a certain point where it's like, okay, it's built to the level I can get it to. Yeah. Now it's the rest of the people that, like, the team that I need to back it. So probably for the past year and a half, we've been shifted to, well, actually, we used to do assembly in-house. We've done engineering, assembly, 3D printing, production, filament production. Fulfillment, customer service,
you name it was here.
We were doing it. We were doing it all, right?
Yeah.
And some things we needed to learn about that whole process. How do you create that? How do you create that business? And then how do you hand the pieces off that you're not good at? Yeah. And one piece that we were not good at was assembly. Like, we were really bad at just, keeping certain parts in stock. We would go and do a production run and be missing one screw, and we're like, how did we miss this one screw?
So to underscore that, it's not that the machines that we were sending out at that time were poor quality.
Oh, no. They would go out with all the parts.
It was the supply chain, logistics, and making sure all of those variables were.
Yes.
Were.
That is hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
So we've been doing it that for 2.5, 3 years, I think. We've been working with our partner assembly company. They take our design, what we come up with, they take it, they onboard it, they do all of our assembly, our shipping. We've actually had a tour there. We've had the live video where we did 2 videos and they were like the same thing. Yeah. We're so happy with them.
There was some fun stuff, and some people watching might think that is weird in this space, but to be honest, that is not weird at all. It's fairly typical.
I would push any company who's created a product like this to do that.
And we do that because what is it that we're best at?
We're best at researching, we're best at developing this hardware, best at taking like what the customer needs and building that into a package that works.
Right. We are not best at the true manufacturing and fulfillment process. So we found someone better than us. And that's one of the, I don't know if you agree, but one of my feelings, one of the secrets in business is to surround yourself with people better than you, smarter than you on certain things, and let them do what they're great at.
On everything.
Yeah. And so that's what we did.
I'm probably the dumbest one here. So, we've done it, we handed off assembly. Yeah. That's been nice. It's still been a shift. So, it's not like we handed off assembly and it's been like, so we can sit back. I think we're doing more now than we were when we were doing assembly.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like our work, now what's that saying? Work expands to the time allowed. That's what we're doing, but we're doing it more on projects that interest us And that's the next piece we're leading into, I hope,
Let's go there.
is our self-directed culture.
Oh.
Oh, we're not going there? Is that too far? Or is that, where were you going?
I don't know. I was just supporting you.
Oh.
You know, rules of improv. You don't say no. Start going there. And if it feels really weird, I'll take you somewhere else.
All right, let's try to explain this live. There was an old management style, the micromanaging, kind of like...
That's not management by a very small person.
Okay. Where is my drum set?
I have some questions from
Yeah, we take questions so I can think about
This
what-
might be as good a time as
Yes.
any. Let's go.
I felt that. I felt that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Saved by the questions.
So, Sing HM29 asked 3 questions. The first one is whatever happened to the school recycling program that Adopt-A-Bot from PrinterBot was supposed to run?
Yeah, so PrinterBot closed. That kind of killed, well, not killed, I shouldn't say killed. That kind of ended that project. PrinterBot.
Do you remember the program?
We weren't connected with that program.
Okay.
We weren't connected with the Adopt-A-Bot, but I think Brooke was trying to do something with recycled plastic. And we were talking with him about recycled plastic, I know that. And he may have been connecting it with the PrinterBot, Adopt-A-Bot program.
Okay.
So that's all I know on that.
And then this is kind of one big question. Do you think at some point you'd switch back to creating the Filabot systems in-house for better margins and lower price units for customers?
No.
So the implication in that question is that because we are outsourcing this production, we are paying, we're paying that much more, and thus the customer is paying more. And to be perfectly honest, that is not what's going
Right.
on.
I mean,
we
can
those
look at our
numbers.
cost and be like, it cost us more, but we would be wrong in that judgment because
Right.
they're the
There-
assembly house.
There's an efficiency there. It would be like if
We have 2 to 3 days shipping because of them. In the past, we had 2 to 4 week, right?
it is far more efficient,
Yeah.
not just in the time of production, but in the resources. So let's say something that took us 2 to 3 hours in house might take 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they're
And-
scalable, which is nice. They're able to take our product line. I mean, we have a warehouse packed with our stuff, ready to go.
Let's say we have an increase in demand.
Yep.
They can meet it, whereas we would need to either push off customers
Push
or
off projects.
hire temporary labor.
Right.
But on the flip side, when there's a lull, we're not paying for that, whereas we would need to pay people who would not
Yeah.
be assisting in production. And where does that cost go? That has to go back into the units.
Right. And I think that's another piece of that question that's important. Why are you smiling?
I think that.
Another question. Another piece is that, yeah, our systems are more expensive. Like we pride ourselves on customer support. We pride ourselves on, we have a phone number that people can call, talk to one of us about an issue with the extruder. Like if something's wrong, like I just shipped another system out because somebody's system went down. We have a customer locally, much easier to work with people locally, that I've driven up. It was like 9:30 at night. And I dropped off an extruder for him so he could make filament.
One of the things, and obviously, if you spend any time looking at our videos, looking at our products, you know that the major criticism is these machines are too expensive.
Right.
And the only people complaining about these machines are people who have never used a competitive product and one of our products.
And I think
If your interest is in having a Hyundai, get a Hyundai.
right.
There's a reason there's a breadth of products available in every space. We have never pretended to be or tried to be the least expensive option. We have tried to deliver.
I think we have in the sense that our Filabot we started in the low, not the price conscientious. I can't say the word.
Conscientious.
That word. Phew.
I got you.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't graduate college.
Is that the reason?
Because you couldn't say conscientious?
No.
Hey, now I can't say it. Conscientious.
So we started in the very like that's where the 3D printing really excited me, is that you could have a 3D printer for you could 3D print a 3D printer, and you still can, right? And that's where our hardware started. But as we started to see like our overall end goal with the company, right, is to utilize the widest range of plastic, because plastic is this resource that can be moved around in different forms, much easier than metal. I mean, wood, you can cut it down and turn it into sawdust, but technically it grows back into a tree, that whole thing. With plastic, we're able to do this on this line, and that's how, that's really how our price have shifted, right? We have way more industrial and business customers, and we're catering to their needs. And it's not that we're trying to, our systems are not for everyone. That's the other piece.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's not.
Look, we stand behind our products. They are a tremendous value, however you slice it, whether you look at the durability, the lifespan of the product, whether you look at it as production over time, whether you look at it as your payback versus buying filament. Mm-hmm. We are across the board at the top of the charts. So, and I say that because I'm working on a project right now, showing those numbers. So they're very front of mind.
And it's not to say, we're not for everyone. We're in a market right. We're in a 3D printing market that is so spread, and we're in the industrial segment that is, So
we just brought in. You may have seen. We've done a couple videos on the Ultimaker S5 we brought in.
Oh, it's amazing.
Look at those videos. What's the major criticism?
Price.
It's too expensive. Well, if it's too expensive, you don't need those features. That's just flat out.
Right. And
a bicycle is far less expensive than a car, but if you need a car, the bicycle is irrelevant.
That'd be a really long ride to work in the morning,
right. Especially in the snow. So let's not.
Well, we've always had the question of how do we deal with customers asking us about price. I think that's where it is. There's other products out on the market that you can go and buy and make filament with, mm-hmm. and they work.
You
to some extent.
You were welcome to purchase one of those. That's
right.
fine. We do not. When you try to make something for everyone, you end up making something good for no one.
Mm-hmm. So that's that one.
Did you have?
I hope that answered it.
Questions are coming in.
Oh,
so
okay.
Do you guys want to keep going with the questions, or do you want to wrap up?
I think we want to keep going.
We haven't had this many questions in a while, so
I'm good.
Let's put a time stop on this of 3:30.
It is 3:30.
Okay, let's do 5 minutes rapid fire.
All right. First one is from 76 Richie 19.
Is that Richard?
Is a print head with pellets a thing you would consider looking into?
Yes. Next question.
Okay. Sing HM29. You mentioned competition. What benefits do you feel your unit has over the ReadyTech Protocycler, a unit that is priced lower and has a closed loop feedback, which I think you guys
Good question.
touched on a little bit there.
I know on the Protocycler, when we run the payback number on that, whether it's, I want to say,
I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing,
go ahead.
but I think that it's we've found that's why our systems are modular, because you try to pack all that in, and one piece breaks, that whole loop is broken. Where we don't want our stuff to break. Nobody does, but we can swap them out and have sections. So ours is more on the industrial side again, and really for production and working with the higher engineering grades, where some lower cost options are really just for specific grades of plastic. So a wider range.
If someone is truly considering, an alternative machine like that, and you've done your research, and you feel free to email us. We can get you some materials. Next.
B TechNet said, now that the EX6 has been so successful, what's the next level?
We can't talk about that right now.
What would we call it?
The X12 T-Rex.
Would have short arms?
Yes.
It would like grab the filament and move it. I don't know. I think
it would stir the pellets awkwardly.
The next thing we're working on is a water bath. we're like the accessories, right? So we have the fill measure we just came out with. It measures the filament. We have a new one we're going to release on that soon. We're excited about that.
Version.
I like that one is so good. There's a lot. I don't think we have much in terms of.
I
think I answered
would
it.
say yeah. Let's just leave it there.
Last quick, simple question is your product available in the UK?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes, we ship internationally. Check it out.
Yeah,
We ship everywhere.
we ship everywhere.
We have not sent a system to Antarctica.
No,
But
you know,
we-
there's like the
but we
whole
want
community
to.
down there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of. So if you are in Antarctica, we will offer you a substantial discount just so we can say we've sent everywhere.
Could we go down there?
No,
Guess we're not going down to Antarctica.
no.
What's
cold.
next?
Plastic breaks.
that's all the questions.
All right.
Okay.
Let's hold on the rest of the questions. If there are more questions people have, you can go ahead. You can email us.
I mean, we can keep going,
contact at
can't we?
philbot.com.
Okay, we're up.
Yeah, we're
right.
30 minutes. We got to start rolling this up. We got to tie it up, right? Because we came in with one thing and we veered, and now we got to bring it
Okay,
back.
let's bring it back.
Or you can go ahead. You can comment on this video, and if they're not rude questions or ridiculous questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah, we've had some weird questions.
We get some weird questions.
So I did an AMA.
So when we
Don't
look
do
out
it.
over the next 5,000 orders, if you had one hope for Filabot, we're doing this again in whatever period of time. We're sitting back, we're reflecting on order 5,001 to 10,000.
Yeah.
What would you hope we could say that would be different than from 1 to 5,000?
I don't know if we'd do anything different. I think we want to improve on our integrity as a company and our products. We want to improve on our transparency, who we are, what we're working for. That's one of the reasons we do live. So I think it's continuing what we're doing and getting better at what we're doing. And being
So-
a company that is like we know hardware really well. We know how to design a product.
Sure.
And I just see it like a lot of products out there in the world that aren't solving a problem. And maybe that's another thing too, is like we want to reach out more to recycling. We want to really start connecting that loop. And the 3D printing and this whole lineup is that perfect platform that we're building. I mean, that's what we do.
So to risk falsely putting words in your mouth, your hope in the future to look back is to say that our customers have a better understanding of who we are, what we do,
Yes.
and that we're able to build a stronger relationship with them,
Yes.
and they with us.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's perfect. I think that's a great way to end. So hopefully you'll check out what we have at filabot.com. Go ahead, email us, call us, comment. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications. We do these videos every Thursday at 3:02 p.m.
05.
ish.
What's the latest we've been?
I don't know. We've gotten a lot better. We had some
have.
early on that we were, but you know what? It's like anything else we
It's
do.
live.
We get better at it as we go.
And it's live.
That's how the world works. So, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week. Do not like that.
Why?
Please don't. Cause this is like a fire hazard. I mean, can't we just?
Crazy, put that away.
Can't we just?
What are these?
They're sparklers.
You can light a sparkler, we've done worse in here.
Is the blow cord stuff?
Yeah, we do everything with the blow cord. You're not even on camera though.
Can this be the opening shot? Holy sh!
You
Okay.
had a sparkler before?
This isn't a sparkler.
It's morning glory. That's why it says morning glories.
Yeah, that's way more boring. than
It's gonna
sparkler.
change. No, it's gonna change in a second.
Oh, do we have fire alarms?
No. You would know if we did.
That's true.
Probably should have
Oh,
something.
wait, so there were no like,
Small children run around with these. Why are you so afraid?
people, I don't,
Let me
want to have a Roman candle plate? You didn't see like the little poppers?
I did.
The ones that go,
I wasn't.
This one doesn't have the different stages.